Hello, welcome to the Maths Matrix and part 2 of the ratio series. My name's Rebecca and in this video we're going to be doing dividing in a given ratio, which is a really important skill regardless of what exam board or what tier you're on. For this lesson you'll be needing paper and a pen. You'll need to know how to multiply and divide without a calculator ideally, but for some of the more difficult questions you might also need a calculator. I'm going to pop some questions on screen shortly, and if you know that you would know how to do all of those, then you don't need to watch this video, you can just move on to the next one. Here are the questions now. Okay, if you're still here, then I'm assuming that you didn't know how to do some of those questions, so let's cover that now. If you did part 1 of this series, then just continue on with your notes. If you didn't do part 1 because you didn't need to, then just put a title of ratio, and either way, then put a subtitle of dividing in a given ratio. And then just put step 1. How many parts? Step 2. So what is 1 part worth? Step 3. Scale up, i.e. multiply. And then just put e.g. share £500 in the ratio 7:3. Now step 1 said that we had to ask how many parts. Well, a ratio of 7:3 means that we have 7 parts to 3 parts. So your first line of working would say 7 plus 3 equals 10 parts. So there's 10 parts altogether. Step 2 said, so what is 1 part worth? That £500 needs to be shared into 10 parts. So we would then put 500 divided by 10 equals 50. So 1 part equals £50. And then step 3 said that we needed to scale up, i.e. multiply. Well, if 1 part is worth £50 and we've got 7 parts, then 7 times 50 equals £350. So the 7 parts will be worth £350 and the 3 parts will be worth £150. And you can check that you've got it right because I had £500 to share out, and at the end I've said that I've got 350 and 150. Together they do add up to make 500, so I have allocated all £500 and I must have done it correctly. Okay? If we do another one, if you put e.g. the angles in a triangle are in the ratio 5 to 3 to 1. What is the size of each angle? Okay. Step 1 says how many parts? 5 plus 3 plus 1 equals 9 parts. And that would carry usually a method mark. Not absolutely always, but usually if that was all you could do, it would be enough for a method mark. Step 2 says, so what is 1 part worth? In this case, we haven't explicitly been told what we're sharing, but we've been told that the angles in a triangle are in that ratio. Well, there's 180 degrees in a triangle, so we're being asked to share 180 in that ratio. So if there's 9 parts and I've got 180 to share, then 180 divided by 9, well, 18 divided by 9 is 2. So 180 divided by 9 is 20. So 1 part equals 20. And in this case, it's to do with angles. So we're working in degrees. So if 1 part is 20 degrees, you carry on underneath, but I'm going to have to go off to one side, okay? So 5 times 20 is 100 degrees. So my biggest angle would be 100 degrees. My next angle is worth 3 parts, so 3 times that 20 degrees is 60. And my last bit is just the 1 part, so it's just the 20 degrees. I had 180 degrees to allocate. 100 plus 60 plus 20 do add up to 180, so I must have allocated it correctly. Okay, so how many parts? What's 1 part worth? Scale up. The only way dividing in a given ratio really gets worse is if the numbers are not as kind, but it's given to you on a non-calculator paper. So really the majority of it is just dividing and multiplying, and on a non-calculator paper you'd have to be confident to do that without a calculator. But the questions that you ask yourself, how many parts, what's 1 part worth, and scale up, they never change regardless of how complicated the numbers are. So I'll show you one more and then I'll give you some to try. So if you put e.g. in a zoo, there are 2,400 creatures. The ratio of mammals to birds to fish is in the ratio 5 to 5 to 2. How many mammals, birds and fish are there? So step 1, how many parts? 5 plus 5 plus 2 equals 12 parts. We've got to divide 2,400 by 12. 24 divided by 12 is 2, and I need to stick those 2 zeros on the end, so it's not actually that nasty, this one, after all. If you didn't know, by doing it that way, then you could set it off bus stop. So 12 into 2 doesn't go, 12 into 24 goes twice, 12 into 0 goes 0, 12 into 0 goes 0. But either way, you've got to be confident dividing in that stage. So 1 part equals 200. We then need to times each of those by 200. So 5 parts would be 5 times 200, which is 1,000. And if you didn't know that and you had to do it like that off to one side, then that would be a long multiplication bit off to one side. In this case, it's going to be the same for the birds as well. So that's mammals. Birds is also 5 parts. And then fish was 2 parts. So timesing that 200 by 2 gives us 400 fish. I'm going to put the questions from the beginning back on screen now, and hopefully you'll be able to do them. It is possible to do all of them except for part of question number 6 without a calculator. So if I were you, I would try them without a calculator, but if you must use a calculator, then you can do. I'll put the solutions on afterwards so that you'll be able to check. You might need a hint for question 6. If you want to try without a hint, then just look away now, because I'm going to put the keyword for question 6 on screen. Okay, the hint for number 6 has gone now, so you can look again. I'll pop the questions up in a sec. Hopefully you'll be able to do them. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing or giving it a thumbs up, and join me in part 3 where we'll be doing harder ratio questions, all in an exam context.